I'm going to read some comments from the video where we talked about the floss biddies. I sure wish there was a way of printing the comments out so that I could read them instead of copying them all. It seems to take so much time, even though I really want to share them with you. So I'm hoping this works. I have the iPhone set up to film the iPad so that I can read the comments and you can still look at something. And I hope it doesn't take too long for the two devices to sync. So let's see if this works. I'm going to start with Julie Wood, who says, "My floss storage is in a state of flux. I am changing from cardboard bobbins in a tackle box to thread drops on a ring. It's going to take a while as I'm changing to the thread drop as I kit up the next project." And I thought that was a really smart idea to change over the system one project at a time. That way the whole process doesn't seem to be such a daunting task. Then Merritt Crawford says, "I store my DMC on bobbins in plastic boxes. My fancy floss is stored in a plastic box with no real organization yet. Need to figure that out." And I think that's what's so great about stitchers making comments, because you can get an idea from another person who's already experienced the same issue or already figured something out that would help you. So I hope some of you are reading other comments when it's a post like this where we're asking for ideas. Then Lori Unkefer says, "I have all my DMC on bobbins, and specialty floss is sorted by maker, then by color family in a plastic box. For example, all the reds, yellows, and oranges together, greens, blues, and purples, then brown, black, and white neutrals." That's a really good way to sort them for stitchers who like to choose their own color palettes. Then Monica Merkley says, "DMC I have stored on bobbins. Silk and special threads I store in plastic boxes made for pairs of shoes. The new floss drops would work amazing for when you have to do blended stitches on mirrors to keep the two colors together." And she's referring to mirabilias, who often call for two different DMC colors together, or perhaps a cotton floss mixed with metallic. So I thought it was great that she figured out that that would work for her choice of projects. Then Kathy Stugmeyer says she also uses floss away bags. "I have a big mule chest where all my floss is kept. I have drawers in the center of it and shelves on either side of the drawers. It's completely full. It's organized by manufacturer." And then she kind of laughs at herself. "No wonder Barb calls me Keepsakes Annex." And she's referring to Barb, the owner of Keepsakes down in Cincinnati, which is Kathy's local shop. Then Shirley Kreikemeyer says, "I had not heard of the Post-it tape, and my husband works for 3M. And I said, Shirley, shame on your husband for not recognizing the potential of 3M products for the needlework community." Then Cammie Brown actually makes her own floss drops with her Cricut machine. And gosh, that's such a good idea for those of you who have a Cricut. I've managed to not spend the money to buy myself one, but every time I see somebody using it for needlework instead of just random crafting, I think, maybe I should think about that the next time they have them on sale. And then the stitcher who calls herself AEF2571 says, "My DMC is in floss bags in an old library card file cabinet. My fancy floss is stored on their original card tags on rings." Wouldn't you like to see her little library card file cabinet? It sounds so cute. And this stitcher was the one that was chosen by the random number generator to get the package of floss biddies. And I'm going to throw in the Post-it tape since I found out that I already owned it, and I'll probably never use 2 full rolls. So she's going to get that too. All right, moving on. Okay, sorry about that. It obviously didn't work the way I wanted it to. When I was filming the iPad, what was showing on the camera was me demonstrating the floss biddies. And when it went into iMovie, I could not control what portion they were showing. And so all you saw was my mouth moving. But I'm not redoing it because I tried it several times already. So we're just gonna move on. I have 2 weeks worth of new charts to show you, although I may be out of 1 or 2 of them that I hope I remember to show you next time. I think this is a fair amount. Country Cottage Needleworks has their Sampler of the Month program that started with January. We're still taking names if you'd like to get in on this. And it looks like they're gonna try to be a month ahead so that you can keep up with the stitching. Little House Needleworks has Bo Peep and her sheep. And then another one in the Mouse series from Tiny Modernist, Christmas Decorating. And I love the way she finished this one. Instead of putting pom-poms or rickrack around the stitching part of it, she just attached the ribbon on the backing fabric, and it gives a maybe a cleaner look to it if you want something different. I mean, I suppose you could still put a bow at the top or in the corner, but anyway, if you like a simpler look, that's a different way of finishing. And then another new one from her is Gift Stocking Bunting. All right, then we had an auto from Bent Creek. This is the A-Frame Lodge in their Snow Globe series. So this comes with the 18 count linen and all the pearl cotton and the beads that you need. So that's really cute, and they stitch up pretty quickly. And then I think these are considered classics. So they were out in some format previously. This is Merry Christmas. And this one is Noel. I think this came as a kit in a little tin, and I never stitched it, but now I'll have to since the chart is available again. Okay, Lindy Stitches had a couple new cat ones, and we're out of one of them, but we still have Mistletoe Loitering Society. Oh, that's really cute. Madame Chantilly has Celebrate Autumn, which we've been waiting for weeks. And also Christmas stamps. So those are wee little designs that would be so cute to use in a variety of ways if you don't want to do an entire Advent, is what it looks like to me. Nanny Dodonna has Blessed Pillow. The Nebby Needle has Santa's Ride. Nikki's Creations, Christmas, let's see, get the glare off of it, Christmas Garden. And Embroidery Christmas. Puntini has Santa's Struggle. And the button that comes with that is the little Santa face. I don't think I've shown this one before, Winter Blooms. It's the 4th and final, I guess, in her seasonal series that are this shape that have the 3 different designs in the same chart. Summer House Stitchworks has Winter's Peace, which she has done as a little pillow. And the last one of the year from Brenda at With Thy Needle is, I keep forgetting the name of it, The Best Time of the Year. I think it's the font that she chose, which is so adorable, but it's hard to read backwards. Isn't that cute? Okay, then some bigger charts here. Barbara Anna Designs has Santa's Ride, and he's got some different rides, some different animals on there, so that's really cute. They also would be cute as individual pictures or ornaments, but I do like the whole thing as well. And Homespun Elegance, this was continually out of stock, so I didn't get that before Halloween, but that's Pumpkin Pocket. And let's see, we got the sampler ornament in, but it sold And this is the snowman, and the Santa one is still out of stock from where I'm trying to get it from. They have Santaville to match the, I forget what the Halloween one was called, but we have it on display. Is it called Witchville? Anyway, I love the long skinny design. Okay. Then 2 new reprints from Prairie Schooler, Kris Kringle. These were not previously part of the yearly program. These are, I think, a little bit taller and thinner than their normal yearly Santa. And Summer and Winter. Then Shannon Christine has number 3 in her Christmas Club. And Feeling Frosty. I love deconstructed snowmen just as well as the snowmen themselves. I think that's really clever. Gnome for Christmas. I'm not into gnomes, but I do think that's clever. And then she has 3 gingerbread houses. This is Gingy's, Gumdrops, and Peppermint's house. And you could do these on one piece of fabric to make a horizontal design or a vertical design, or do them over one, make them smaller for an ornament. But those are cute. And oh, I guess that was the end. Okay, I guess that was the end of the do stuff. Oh, I did have some more things, but I'm gonna save them for next time because I think I'm gonna run out of time. Alrighty, on to the next thing. Okay, let's see how steady I can keep this iPad while I show you some beautiful fabrics from Fiber on a Whim. At a previous Nashville market, I had picked up their Aida because I was impressed that they were the first fabric dyers that I knew of that were dyeing over the linen Aida, which gave it a different texture and look to it. And I started with those. So this is a variety of counts of Aida, all the way up to 20 count. Blueberry, heather, ocean blue, old gold, peony, slate, spicy mustard, and steel. So I already had those, and I really wanted to carry their linens and even weaves as well. And of course, I chose to get a couple different counts so that I could see what the color looked like across different types of fabric. So the first color was Hazelwood, and I got it in 16 Aida, and 32 Belfast, and 36 Edinburgh. And it actually looks very consistent across the fabrics. And I have it matched up to DMC 371 and 372 because I know that they don't always look the same on camera. And then this is Oatmeal in 14 count, 28 Cashel, and 36 Edinburgh. And I have DMC 831 and 832 kind of lined up. I don't really think that looks like my morning oatmeal. I feel like some of these colors came in a little more goldish greenish than I expected, but they're still really pretty colors. And then I got Cocoa in 28 Lugana, and I felt like it looked pretty good with 840 and 841. I love that series of browns. And this is also Lugana, but 32 count espresso. And although it didn't really match perfectly to any DMC, I chose 613 and 3032. And also, if you open up the entire yard of fabric, it does have different spots to it, but I felt like these best represented the majority of what was showing. And this is 28 count parchment. Lovely and messy. And I have 3012 and 3013 laying on top of it to give you an idea of what that color looks like in person. Okay, I must say I really enjoyed that week off that I self-imposed for Thanksgiving. I've never done that before. I started taking Fridays off years ago because we weren't getting that much traffic on those days, but I was still open on Saturday. And we were open for years on Wednesday because we always had a stitch group that day until I finally decided that maybe they didn't need to come that day. But I've never taken a whole week off, so I really enjoyed it. Of course, I worked hard getting ready for Thanksgiving. I had saved my decorating for the end. So we cooked and cleaned and decorated, and so that was a necessity but also fun. And then we hosted, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I spent organizing my stitching supplies, mostly my fibers, because I had so many things out of place. And I came up with some duplicates, some fresh full skeins that had never been touched that were kitted, and so I brought them back in and put them on the wall because thread is taking longer and longer to come, and I didn't think it was fair to keep all those skeins at home, so I did that. And it was very satisfying to put things back where they belong so that I could keep track of what I actually had in stock and keep up with my list, so that when I'm at the shop I could take a look at the list to see if I needed any skeins for a new project. So that was sadly out of whack for so long. And then I did stitch on those nights, but I didn't really like stitch, if you know what I mean. I was doing things like tying off my tails on the back, or sewing buttons on, or attaching beads for eyes, that sort of thing. But that also felt good to get some things ready for final finishing. And boy, I really hope I get to it in January. That truly is my goal this year, is to make use of all the props that I've purchased and use all the great ideas I found on FlossTube. So hopefully in January. But one thing I did do was finish this Happy Thankful Day. And this is, let's see, how old is this? It's still available, but is there a year on this? I think they don't. 2014. Some designers don't date their things, so I think that's pretty clever because then it never looks, dated or old. But this is from 2014, not that long ago. But here's a case where I want you to do as I say and not as I do. How about, here's a case where you should not do what I did without testing it first. So I used the brown polka dot fabric because it was new at the time, and it didn't work out so well for me. I'm actually gonna put a picture in here someplace of the original. I spent an entire evening watching Hallmark Christmas movies, of course, taking out all of the alphabet. Oh, I'm gonna put it on this board so you can see it better. So I had stitched the alphabet in the brown the way they showed it. You couldn't read the letters. It just looked like gobbledygook. And honestly, I like this only slightly better, but there's nothing I can do to save it. There's no other color I can use. This was a color that was already used in the design, so it was the pumpkin, I guess, and one of the turkey feathers. Can you even tell that's a turkey down there? I feel like you can't even see that it's a turkey. And there's supposed to be some little motifs over here and an acorn charm, and I'm not going to put those on because they just don't show up. But I finished him. I think all he needed was his nose, which you can hardly tell, but it's one shade lighter than his skin, and maybe one of the turkey feathers and the turkey legs. But I put it away because you couldn't read the alphabet, and I didn't think it was frame worthy or finish worthy, but I decided that I really did want it, so I took the time to take out all the stitching and stitch it again in the rust So I'm not looking for compliments. You don't have to tell me whether you like it or don't like it. It is what it is. But I guess my advice is when you stitch on a different fabric like that, that has a design to it, maybe test a little bit in the corner instead of stitching so far that you've created a problem for yourself. So anyway, the other pieces I worked on came from Autumn Smalls from Lizzie Kate. And I do have all 16 from the 4 different seasons in some state of completion. Most of them just need like little dribs and drabs done. So to give you an example, Haunted, I kept the needle in this to remind myself that I'm not done yet. I can't find the floss to finish the hill. It was missing from the kit before I started reorganizing. So I must have taken it out to use it on another project. And it's not the floss that it called for because my citronella was either too stripy or too light and I didn't care for it. And I switched it out and I didn't make a note. I don't even know if it was another Weeks or if it was a different company. So I'm gonna have to investigate that a little further. But really all I had to do was his eye, his beak, his legs, and the chimneys, and sew the buttons on. That's all I had to do. So I don't know why I saved that stuff for last, but it's a bad habit of mine. So I forced myself to work on that. Another one from that book is Hoot, and all I had to do was sew those buttons on, and then I decided instead of French knots, I was going to put petite black beads on for that owl. So they're done. And then again, on this one, all I had to do was the eye, the beak, and the leg. And I think it was because I wasn't going to use the overdyed it called for because I didn't think that was necessary for such a small area. And I was just going to pull a DMC. And so I just put it aside. And I didn't do any of the fabric that she called for. I just used scraps for everything, for all 4 of the seasons books. I just grabbed any count to anything that would do. And then the 4th one from that book is Autumn. And all I had to do were the X's at the bottom and put the buttons on for the owl's eyes. So I was really happy to have accomplished that. Okay, and now is the time for you to send me photos of your Christmas decorating. It could be a photo of your tree, close-ups of ornaments on your tree, a cute vignette on your kitchen island or your living room bookshelf, or an individual picture of something you had framed or finished. As long as it's usable, a good quality photo, and hopefully something that's still available that I can advertise. Anyway, the sooner you get it to me, the better chance it will go in the Christmas decorating video that I hope to do. Maybe I'll put that up Christmas weekend, maybe. But you can send them all the way until the end of the year and you'll still get in the drawing for 3 more packs of the Jude Design Merry Christmas collection. There's 7 skeins that are 8 meters each, so it's like a $25, $26 value. And I already gave 2 of them away on FlossTube, but I announced this on Saturday on Facebook, and I'm including you guys in this as well. If you want another chance, just send me your photos like you did last year. Thank you. Thanks in advance. Alrighty, I guess that's it. And hopefully this week will go smoothly and I'll be able to keep doing my weekly videos and not have a hiccup. Okay, bye.